So as we've talked about insuring against these encumbrances or things that were recorded, what else, what other risks might be covered by title insurance?
Well, a lot of times there are hidden risks, which are incumbent in recording a transaction. You can have somebody who's, fraud, which happens all the time, forgeries. You can have a seller who is incompetent and is not able to go ahead and properly deed the property. None of these that you'd be able to find out using a public search. I mean, you're not going to be able to find any of these things out by going ahead and looking at all the records. But you are protected from these by a title insurance policy. They will protect you from forgeries, from fraud, and all these.
I think of that as kind of your basic idea of insurance, that you don't want to be the one person that gets hit with these. In a title company, basically they spread the risk around everybody, because it doesn't happen maybe that often, but they can spread the risk around to various title policies, and I think it's just kind of the essence of insurance.
I mean, one of the things that you do as a title company when you go ahead and get documents is you compare the signature from the grantor to for example, if John were to put on a deed and a deed of trust on his property, he would have to sign the deed of trust. So if all of a sudden we see a deed, from John to Steve Ball, and that deed is in a different handwriting than what John's was when he signed the document, the title company's going to go ahead and be concerned that it might be a forgery. And there's a forgery reward program that all title companies have, that if you catch a forgery, you're paid a given sum of money for being able to find that, because it saves a title company hundreds of thousands of dollars by catching these. And believe me, they catch them a lot. There's a lot of fraud that goes on, and especially in an up market, when people are trying to go ahead and take advantage of it.
So one of the last things just kind of in this first session is kind of an overview. I'd like to kind of just go through what I've always heard of is there's a preliminary title report, which, by the way, you'll hear preliminary title report, prelim, or PTR. Then there's the title commitment, and then there's the title policy. Maybe you can just start by kind of giving an overview of what a preliminary title report is.
Well, a preliminary title report is a report that's prepared by a title company that before issuing a title insurance policy. What it does is it just shows the ownership of a parcel of land, what the encumbrances are on the property, and what the legal description is, as well as there are some notes that will be covered most of the time, and that is precursor to going ahead and issuing a title insurance policy.
So, for example, I'm maybe looking at buying a piece of property and want to develop it, or having plans to develop. First thing I'd get is one of these prelims or PTRs from the title company, which is going to basically show the vesting. It's going to show some other information, but the main one I'm initially looking, I think, at is the exceptions. I mean, it's saying, this is the recorded encumbrances on the property, and it really is preliminary. And we're going to go through one in more detail in another session, but